Hey guys, Starting coming at you with another game of hardcore Minecraft. We're here in the world again. We're gonna work on the lake. We're gonna smooth out the water level. You know, the tyranny and the nonsense has gone on too long. We're gonna fix it. We're gonna take some dirt out of this box where I was keeping it for reasons. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you I knew that all this dirt was in this box. I haven't looked at it in a long time. I'm sure that it's fine. But yeah, so you know the lake, it was clumsy, and we built a little geode in it the other day. You know, it still needs a little bit of work there too, right? But we want to chop the whole lake down to did we? Oh man, you know, I bet everything that we did is just undone because we made it slightly taller somewhere else. That's the thing about having a kelp system, right? Alright. What we might do is just brick in this until we fix all of that. No, we need first to get rid of, like, a lot of the kelp. We can plant more later once it's fixed, if we want. This is not a good place to exist. What if one of the turtles went down there? I mean, they could just get right back out. We're gonna wall it off. Alright, yeah, and then we're just gonna continue in this vein. We don't want to break any of the seagrass there. You know, that's very valuable seagrass. You gotta work pretty hard to get that down. But if we just trim it like so, then we should be able to make sure that any problems there. Nope, yeah, see it already. It doesn't take too much. We're just gonna pop like all of it, nearly all of it, a whole bunch of it, and then we'll, you know, I got plenty of other decorations. Like, look at the seagrass there. You know, that's what this place was supposed to be like. The kelp was always supposed to be temporary, right? But like most of the things that I do in this game, you know, once you sort of... Ah, Raphael! Old friend. We've never lost Raphael. I'm just gonna lay down real quick. Good morning, Froggy. How are you, Kiara? It's just 11:51 for me, but I know you're slightly closer to that old ocean over there. You know, that ocean, the one that way. The one with Atlantis in it. Allegedly. I love the idea of, like, Plato not thinking that people would care that much about what he said, and then later on being like, oh, dude, now that I know that you guys are gonna read my stuff, I never would have written that nonsense about Atlantis. That was just a silly story. You're like, I lived my whole life by that. I made a cartoon movie about it. He's like, oh man. This is how I imagine conversations with Plato going. Alright, so we'll just put that there. Because it could even be like a bigger sandbar, right? Because if that sand went out that far, well, I mean, no. It wouldn't be ideal. It's already at an alright size where the sand is. I'm working on you really need to be asleep right now. Well, you know, I don't want to be a bad influence. But I don't want to tell you to go to bed either, you know. I'm nobody's boss. Never want to be. I got rid of my shift tomorrow morning, so. Other people wanted it more than I did, which was at all. I didn't want it at all. You've been messing with your Linux for a little bit. Nice. That is one nice thing about having this incredibly crummy Windows product. You know, I don't ever have to mess with it. All I ever do is complain. You know, it was a lot easier to make this lake. Once again, proving that thinking more would be better. Alright, so if we drop this down, we're going to need to redo the coral a little lower. That's fine, you know, we could always decrease the base of the lake. So we get it there, because we want to drop it to, like, right here, right? I think that's the place we want. Man, I'm gonna need more dirt. Oh no, I broke the seagrass. My valuable seagrass. How will I ever get more? I think just bones, right? It is, you know, I don't know what kind of message they're trying to deliver to little kids with this game, but they're just like, hey, just pour some bones on a tree, it'll immediately grow. It's a good message. I'm for it. Yeah, just a backpack would be great. If they just let me carry, like, more stuff, like, think how much better everything would be. Don't have shulkers? I do. Look, the thing is that by the time that I take the ender chest out and put the shulker down and get the stuff out of it, I usually just, like, keep them to, like, put junk into, and then I never look at them again. I don't have that many shulkers. I have left one before, and then whenever I went back, it was already gone. There wasn't a whole lot of stuff in it, but it definitely made me feel like, maybe just don't do that. But I've got just like a couple of shulkers. Being in the end, it makes me so nervous, dude. Like, just so nervous. I don't feel good whenever I'm in there. It's alright when I'm on land. But, oh man, over the void, no thank you. The fan broke because I didn't. That'll be alright. Just need to trim this coral down because it's up too high. We'll make it, you know, we'll fix it up here in a bit. We'll put it into this box. Hey, look at all the other coral in the box. Oh, and dirt. We even got some nice bones here. You never know when you'll need some. You have an aircraft behind you, just fly. Yeah, I was told that if you fly too high, like with an elytra in the end, you'll like hit the ceiling and immediately die, so I'm like, no thanks. Yeah, if I wasn't in hardcore, you know, it'd be whatever, it'd just be a huge inconvenience, but, you know, falling where your totem can't save you, no thanks. It's not true that you can go too high? Oh, someone trolled me and it worked. I live my whole life by that. This is gonna take as long as making the lake. It's okay. It's for a good cause. Me. It's for me. And you might think that's the opposite of a good cause. It is. It's because I looked at the lake and realized I wanted it to be more level. I knew I would eventually come to this, you know, like, I knew my bad craftsmanship would come back to me. Look, I've read the novel Frankenstein by Mary Shelley like 100 freaking times, right? And I knew that this lake would come back and be like, you promised me another smaller lake, one that would do all of my lake related chores, and I would be like, oh man, I forgot I imbued you with so much of my bad personality. Anyway, like I said, I've read the book a lot. You know, I haven't gone back to check, but I am sure, I am just so sure, because I'm a jerk, that I said, I'll figure it out later. It doesn't matter if it's the same height. It's just going to be one or two different, whatever. Hey, Luke. Good evening. Need to eventually get some dolphins for here. So we either need to build... This is like a long-term thought. We either need to build a canal to the sea and drag them through. That won't be that annoying, right? Or... we like put them on a lead, and then we like carry them over land, like in the air on a ghast. But do they die in the air? These are questions. Oh, stuff's fine. Just need slightly more food. Good night, Kira. Oh, the Frankenstein thing. Yeah, well, as I don't have children. No, it's very explicit in the book. The Frankenstein's monster, the creature, as it's called there, like, refers to him as his father, and so on. It is very much the text and not a subtext. Oh yeah, that part of it. Yeah, you know, Mary Shelley was kind of a creep. Look, she didn't have great role models in a quest to not turn out to be kind of a big, giant, creepy weirdo. I want to be clear. I like her, and I think she's great. Sometimes when you, like, quote part of a Radiohead lyric at a person by accident, you don't mean, actually, I think they're great. But that is what I mean. What is he doing over there? What call could... There's nothing even on that side of the river. Are they trying to go down and talk to the people? I mean, I doubt it. Yeah, see, they're all still doing fine. They've even got a nice little golem inside. The other day, I thought they were all lost, but they were just, like, upstairs hanging out, doing their jobs, you know, fishing. So you do origami in your spare time? Oh, that's so cool! Like, you just fold it randomly until something comes out. That was all the origami I ever did when we did it in school. I was like, look, I will never be able to follow your instructions. How about I just twist the paper up? Oh, we can't get back out that way. You can only swim in. We'll have to go out the door. Alright, back to lake smoothing. I got distracted because it's not very fun. Oh, you figured out an Eldritch pattern and you can't do it except by achieving the meditative state. Very ominous indeed. You know, it'd be better... The bottom of the waterfall over there isn't so good, right? Where we just have, like, this space here where it all falls in. It'd be better if all of this wasn't so tall, I think. And then we just, like, had a cascading waterfall there. And then, like, maybe, like, a big pool down there. Something to change in the future. Right now, we're going back to the boring part. We're gonna need more dirt. Wait, don't I have a box of it somewhere? The answer is always yes. I'm like, wait, didn't I, like, operate over here? Did I not dig a whole thing out? I've got to have some dirt. Looks around, thousands of dirt. Marvelous. Just as planned. And, you know, I probably said that, too, when I put it there. I was like, one day I'll be here and I'll need some dirt, and it'll be right here. Now, when I said it, that was a lie. What I meant was, I don't want to move this dirt anywhere else. Me and this dirt are never going to see each other ever again. We are never, ever, ever going to use this dirt ever. But that's not how it ended up. You know, life is very long. You can never tell what the future will bring. Sometimes your box of dirt will be, you know, there when you most need it, or most medium need it, and could have went to a different one. I don't want the box of dirt to get, like, a big head about it. There's other boxes of dirt out there, after all. I should say, although it's not interesting, it is very pleasant. The rushing of the water, the Minecraft music, the responsive way that having Depth Strider, whatever, level 4? 3 is in water. Man, not having that and swimming around, you feel, you know, not very graceful. And then you go back to your hardcore world if you're me, and you're like, oh wow, look at all my stuff. Because even in the wheat world, you know, we don't wear armor for the aesthetic. So whenever I happen to be in water, I'm like, man, this is miserable. Donatello? Yes, we are lowering the water level. Yeah, we found Donnie. I'm not sure where he is right now. He's just doing his thing. He was trapped under, like, a thing like this that wasn't quite right here, but yeah. I think he's probably over here. Yeah, here he is. And Leo's in here, and Mikey's probably over there on the thing. But yeah, it was, because I just had the hitboxes on, you know, and I was just like, you know, I gotta, maybe I'll look for him again, you know. And I was just going all the same, like, out in the middle, you know, of the whole lake, and I was just like, yeah, why don't I look where I've looked 100 times before? That's smart, you know, talking to myself like I often do. And then he was right there. He was just right there. It was a very, very fortuitous thing. But yeah, we're lowering the water level of the lake so that we'll have it higher here, and will be like a broader sand sort of thing going on here. This is Turtle Beach, right? This is where all the turtles are born. Is this little patch of sand right over there? So we want to like expand it some. But then we want to just drop the water level of the whole lake down to the level of the river, or the stream here that leads into it. Not like this part here, although we're gonna fix this to where it's this that, you know, just goes down a little bit into it rather than all of it there, because right now it's just so messy, right? This is not the lake of a gentleman. This is a messy lake. This is a lake that didn't hire its architect. You know, I always wanted to pretend to be a lake architect. Fusion of one amazing joke with itself. I'm like, is this a better way? Do we just hold the button down and go around and think, it'll probably be fine? I mean, it could be. Maybe I was thinking too much about it, right? After all, we know what level we want it to be at. If it goes slightly lower, it's trivially easy to make it go up again. Yep, I was thinking too much about it. There's going to be some spaces that we miss on the next level, but that won't be too tricky to get together, right? Right. Yes, third-person mode and not aiming too much. That's the key. Also, it helps to have a lot of dirt. You know, if you have insufficient dirt supplies, I feel bad for your son. It's like a workshopped version for the chorus of that song. They ultimately went with a different unit of measurement. You run out of dirt far sooner you run out of smooth stone. Why smooth stone? Just because you made a whole bunch of it for your city and then you have like it to spare? Or do you use it for like experience maybe? You cook the stone and then do you cook stone again to make it smooth? I forget. I know I've used it before. Ah, I see. I was like, is it even the name of a block? No, because it's, yeah, chiseled. It'd probably be easier to just mass do the top rather than trying to fix the bottom. We can just do this layer again from up there. Once we trim the top layer off, I imagine that'll be the play. And not boxing myself in like this. Yeah, it'll be... Yeah, there's not even that many... problems. But yeah, I generated so much dirt from this project. Because, of course... And necessitated digging a trench this whole way. Which was a whole bunch of stone and then just so much more dirt. And then there's a large amount of dirt chests just everywhere. I'm like, not there, we would have moved it. There actually may not be too many out here anymore. I knew there'd be some. But along the route to the canal... Which, what a wonderful project that was, you know. Truly noble. The best thing we've ever done. If you ignore the tombstones by the side where our mistakes are. Because the Mooshes don't care. They didn't hold it against me, you know. But I felt bad. Like using this building blocks, this neutral color, non-intrusive texture. It is nice. The texture that is intrusive that I really like is like all the tough bricks. I think they're really nice. That's what I built the Merely Good library in my Survivor world out of, was tough bricks, or mainly, or like, you know, the scroll work ones. There's a bunch of different variations of the tough. And I think they're basically all very nice looking. Man, it's so hard to play this game in first person. And yet it's so difficult to play other aspects of it, not in it. Because placing blocks is difficult in third. But if you need to place like a whole lot of them in this context, like doing it in first person is essentially a non-starter. Because you can't... You know, you can't see outside of yourself enough to know where you need to go around you. Oh no, I've fallen and I can't get up. But unironically, yeah, I'm like, I don't think you can even get up from there. Yeah, not without doing a lot of effort. You also like the tough brick, but oh, they put it in after. That, you know, that's how they get you, right? You overinvest before you realize how cool, you know, the downloadable bricks are gonna be. Oh, whoops. But we gotta wrap this up before too long, right? We gotta leave this project in a decent spot, because it's day 796. And that means we just have a couple of more days before we need to begin the celebration preparations, right? I mean, we can't have the lake messed up for when we, you know, fly over the world and look at stuff. We're gonna have to make sure we have enough rockets. Yeah, we're on a time crunch now. The centenary celebrations are the only true institution in the hardcore realm, besides the crime family itself. We didn't always do them. I think it's just this world where we did it. And we didn't even start doing it until like day 400, I think. But it's an institution, right? You know, the people clamor for the recognition of the day. A zombie in this economy? This is still one too high, isn't it? Yes, it is. Still, gotta do this one first. Be much easier to do one-ish level at a time. I think that's the lesson we're learning here. If you can do two, so much the better. The dekelpening. We're gonna come back later with bones and make all this better. We need more fish for the lake too. You know, thunder? Thunder. We sleep through the storm. I'm like, oh no, that moved it a whole nother day, didn't it? Maybe not. No, it totally... Oh, that's rough. We'll never be ready in time. We will. I'll just do a bad job for the celebration. I don't care. No, we're gonna finish this. Gotta like schedule it a couple of days ahead of time. Sometimes people they don't normally show up for it. You know, it's a very joyous occasion. Whoops. I will say, moving through like dirt blocks with a very high-powered shovel, it's a good feeling. That's a good Minecraft feeling. It makes you feel strong and mighty. Oh man, what am I gonna do tomorrow? I'm so excited. You in another with another act, right? I just get so nervous there. After all, things can be, you know, made out of lightning in the nether. Or fire, you know, whichever. Much better. Oh, we need to drop all of this down to level 2. We can wait on that, because this is the level we need to be at. So we've got that for most of the lake, which honestly went a lot faster than I hoped. But figuring out, you know, that we could just, you know, sort of hold the button in a non-clumsy way and make it work, that was good. I want to stay on top here for what I can describe as reasons. Yeah, this went wonderfully. And we'll have plenty of time to make a cake and make sure we have gunpowder. And not paint ourselves into a corner. Aha! No! One more time with feeling. And we'll do more sandbar stuff over there with that. We're not gonna leave it like that, you know, not for any length of time. Just, you know, for today and maybe forever. But not like for a long time, just, you know, maybe forever though. With the water level lower in the geode looks worse. We need to... Huh. Well, that won't do. Right here? There we go. We got another one here. Taken care of anymore. Thought that was one, but we're good. Bella. Oh, you could even use anything, right? You know, for being widely available, it's also useless. I guess you can light it on fire, right? And that's... I mean, you can't, like, use it in a furnace, I don't think, but... On my friend's server, they got some sort of, like, eternal torch of the Olympics or whatever, but, you know, nobody competes for it. But it's like, looks like a little bonfire thing with some nether rack that's on fire, I think. Nether bricks, that's right. I'm like, I always think of nether bricks as that thing that you farm from fortresses, but you can make them. I think the nether brick, some of the nether brick stuff looks really good. Nether brick fences, I think, are like a really good fence. I think they go with a lot of blocks. You know, the sand, we'll take the sand with us. We don't have so much sand that we can just be leaving it around, you know. But I do want to pick up at least a lot of this dirt, you know. Not like all of it. I don't care. But, you know, this dirt served us well. And obviously, if we can return a couple thousand of it to a box, that'll be good for our next project. Even though we could just get some dirt somewhere else. That is, I mean, the least relevant thing ever. Alright, that's enough. We can leave the rest of the dirt there. The problem is that the sightline is actually significantly broken up by this this water here, but we're not ready to get rid of all of it because I didn't get ready yet. So we're gonna keep on working here, even in the night. What's the worst that'll happen? A creeper will come and blow up everything? I mean, it'll be okay. More likely they would just do something in the water and we wouldn't even notice. Whoops. What am I stuck on? There we go. Like, you know, just being in first person doesn't function for this. I gotta remember our training. We ran out of dirt. We ran out of dirt. supposed to be like getting gunpowder, and all I'm doing is thinking this is not quite right. We gotta lower this level pronto. And I'm not wrong. It's very important to the visual of the lake that it connects, right? We can have this part separated off some. Who cares, right? We'll get over that, but not Turtle Beach. Got to be level. Got to. That's like the whole identity of the lake. And maybe it used to be that everything was wrong, but now that's not what the lake's about anymore, you know. It's a different lake now. It's wiser. Fitter, happier, more productive, comfortable, not drinking too much, you know. A pig in a cage on antibiotics. It occurs to me that would be a really weird sequence of events, of words, if you didn't know the Radiohead song. It's a Radiohead song. They really just say a bunch of weird words in a row, like those that I've just shared with you. I love me some Radiohead. It's not the first time that's come up. Kind of always have. It's led to some funny moments in the past, because, like, you know, I traveled in kind of, you know, punk rock, punk adjacent circles for a bunch of time, and sometimes people would just, like, you know, talk trash about one band or another, and I would like them, and I'd be like, well, you know, you're kind of wrong about Kid A, actually. And then bore them for a long time talking about how, you know, it actually is very awesome. Like, have you ever listened to the national anthem? I mean, really listen to it. Like, the American national anthem? I'm like, no, the Radiohead national anthem. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, we just need more sandstone for the sides around the beach there. Marvelous. And then, of course, to level out over there. But the rest of the lake is sorted, which went, you know, rather faster than I had hoped. Very good indeed. Indeed, Luke. You know, everybody wants to have their big guy, you know, singing their fight song. I've never been to Chicago. I bet it's cold this time of year. I'm like, you're still alive? That was way off. it always tests my powers of not, like, pretending to be a sailor. Whenever I hear the creeper hiss behind me, I'm always like, "Blarr! Avast!" You know, that kind of thing. Need to fill in all those holes someday. And then they'll just make more. This was not a very good getting gunpowder night. First of all, the sun's coming up again. Yeah, it was a nice, comfy, and sunny day here in Arkansas. Except for the clouds. I don't know what temperature it was, probably 55 or 60, right? Just a very comfy day. I didn't need a coat and a hat, you know. Went out to get some fresh air during a break at work, and I grabbed my jacket and I'd take a step out of the door and I'm like, wait, seems a little superfluous, doesn't it? Not that I mind too much. The cold hurts my hands. Interesting. Right here? Much better. It's interesting how when a texture that you're looking at is highly regular, any very small deviations are quite easily noticeable. Just like water flow where all the other water flow is regular. You're like, hey, wait, where's that? Why is there swirling, you know? That's all of it in the lake proper, I think. And that little bit over there that was feeding it is taken care of. That waterfall is desired. We will trim it some, though. Because we don't need it. It doesn't need to be so broad there, not at all. Alright, but it'll still be doing weird stuff there unless we block it away. No, not like that. Huh. Oh. No, the only thing I really know about places in this country is that if anyone ever says they're from Vermont, I do the White Christmas line. That's the only thing I know. I can't help it, and even if I could help it, I wouldn't want to help it. It's just a thing I like to do. And then I'll start singing the song at people if they look confused. I don't care. I'm not too proud. Just because I don't sing so good doesn't keep me from doing it. Mr. Pump. Everything is well, I presume. Oh, we got plenty of rockets. Good. I knew we had plenty of rockets. I knew we had plenty of them. Bones, 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 bones. Box of garbage. It's such a good box because you walk away and then the garbage is gone into, you know, an area underneath us that we never have to think about. Mr. Jump. Snow golems. I had a few once upon a time. Emerald 334. I had created them to put snow upon the mountain on old Everest, which we climbed on September 10th, incidentally, which I remember because we put a little, you know, climbed date on it, but the date was 9/10, so it was like rating the mountain a 9 out of 10. Which it wasn't. We're just gonna go ahead and level this one out. There's no reason to not have it done right now. We're already in the mood for doing it. 5 Malachite Drake of Thunder. You just don't feel like doing them manually. You feel like playing it, but you don't. Dude, isn't it funny? And like, I want to do it. I want to play these armies. You're like, but now I have to actually use them, you know? It could be so fun. It's like, lots of times I feel like I play a whole campaign to just, like, really enjoy, like, 3 battles the whole time. But sometimes it's just like a blast, you know, for longer. It just really depends. It's really about whether or not auto-resolve wants to punish you, you know, for whatever. It's what it seems like. To me, anyway. It's like, I want to be able to choose if I feel like doing the fights. If I have to do it, then, you know. Like my horse archer playthroughs on Three Kingdoms, you know, it's like, man, I love these armies, but sometimes it would just be nice to hit the button and not have to do it. Alright. Marvelous. Great, and in all other ways, fairly good. We need to bring more sand over there. And with time, making that waterfall a little more graded would be fine. But as it is, this is totally good. We just need to... yeah. Good. Well, this is a good place to end it then, because the dawn of the next day will be day 799, which by tradition is like the beginning of the day celebration stream, where we just, you know, sort of get ready and, you know, make the cake and everything, and then get into position to fly towards the sun. And with the dawning of a new day, a very exciting time indeed. And we didn't bring the seeds because we're not very good at this. Rude is gonna kick me out. He's the boss, though. Very forgiving. Vampire Ghost is so bad because, like, it's all the handgunners, right? And man, does the game ever not want to lean on an unarmored shooting unit? The auto resolve does not favor them. But anyway. That's all for tonight. Oh, we did it. We fixed the lake. Maybe there's some way to light the amethyst geode so that it shows up at night. Throw in a sea lantern. I don't know. Something to think about. Yeah, because, you know, Sea Pickles maybe could just put, like, a sea lantern, like, underneath it, kind of, on the walls underneath it. Because anything illuminating, like, the top of it would be super tricky. But just, like, see down there, we've got, like, that's like a sea lantern in the wall covered with kelp. We could do that underneath it and maybe get some of it illuminated. Especially if we make it bigger and more underneath the water. But, you know, that zombie, that's exactly why we've got, you know, our berry bushes and the wall and the moat. The basalt layer, I knew I forgot something. Yes, it's just the calcite. We need to put the basalt layer on there too. I just threw it together the other day. It's my first attempt at recreating one. We don't have, like, the actual thing. It's just blocks and calcite, right? Oh, good old calcite. It's good old dog. But, anyway. That'll do it for this video. Probably be a few days before we come back to Minecraft Hardcore. Because it'll be, no, it'll be scheduled at least a day in advance. I would be doing it on, like, Wednesday or Thursday, but given that that is the old holiday, we'll probably push it back even further than that. Because, you know, they're like an event, and I like the idea that, you know, people might be able to come celebrate together, you know. Whether or not anybody elects to pencil it into their calendar. But the sun rises on day 799. What did I do this 100 days? The lake was the wall this time? Maybe. I feel like it was mainly just messing around. Were the gas this 100 days? Maybe. Yeah, like, were they this whole 100 days? Maybe. Because the lake is older than the Ghasts, right? Gaston's Antlers, the central island there, Genghis Khan, like... Was that all this 100 days, or were we, like, sort of starting on the Ghasts and then we did more of them? I think that's more likely. I don't recall, though. The wall might have been this time. I don't remember. I'd have to look it up. But anyway, that's all I've got for you right now. Good night, everybody. Good night, Luke. Good night, Kiara, although you're probably already gone. You're supposed to be asleep anyway. But that'll do it for this one. And I'm off all day tomorrow, so I'm excited about that. I'll be around, you know, eating snacks and playing video games in that order. And maybe I'll see you there. So good night, everybody.